Most people will never sit across from someone they trust completely and hear them say something that destroys everything. I did. And the worst part? I saw it coming, and I still let her. If you've ever felt something for someone you had absolutely no right to feel it for, don't look away. Because what happened in that room is the kind of thing people take to their grave. I'm telling it today. I was 44, divorced, and disappearing, quietly. No big fight, no cheating, no dramatic ending. My marriage just ran out of road. One morning we sat across from each other with coffee in our hands and nothing left to say. We both felt it, so we let go. I moved into a small apartment downtown, told everyone I was doing fine. I smiled at the right times. I showed up where I was supposed to. But inside, I was completely hollow. The silence at night was the hardest part. No one to talk to, nothing to come home to. Just me and a life that suddenly felt too small. My sister was the first one to say it out loud. She handed me a card one afternoon over coffee. Her voice was quiet, but she meant every word. You don't have to keep doing this alone. The card had one name on it. Dr. Catherine Holloway. Therapist. 52 years old. Highly recommended. I stared at that card for 3 days before I called. I told myself 1 hour a week. That's all. What's the worst that could happen? I had no idea what I was walking into. First session, I barely said anything real. Short answers, safe version of events. She didn't push, didn't try to fix me. She just listened, fully, without judgment. That was new for me. By the third session, I was saying things out loud I hadn't even admitted to myself. By the sixth, Thursday at 4 p.m. was the only thing in my week I looked forward to. That room felt safe. Too safe. Dr. Holloway was calm, precise. Every word, chosen carefully. She had this habit of pausing before she spoke, like she wanted to get it exactly right. I respected that. And then slowly, without meaning to, I started noticing things I had no business noticing. The way she pushed her hair back when she was deep in thought. The way her expressions softened when I said something honest. The thin gold ring on her finger. Always there. But somehow easy to forget. I told myself to stop every single time. This is therapy. She is helping you. Do not ruin this. But here's the thing about trying not to feel something. The harder you push it down, the more real it becomes, and that scared me more than the loneliness ever had. One afternoon, I was talking about loneliness. About how strange it is to want people close to you, and still push them away the moment they get there. She went quiet. Longer than usual. Then, almost to herself, she said, "Yeah, I understand that." Not her professional voice. Not calm and controlled. Something else. Tired. Honest. Personal. I looked at her in a way I hadn't allowed myself to before, and I saw it clearly for the first time. She wasn't just sitting with my loneliness. She was carrying her own. After that, things shifted. Small things, but real things. Sessions ran a few minutes longer. She asked about my week like she genuinely wanted to know. Once I said something that made her laugh. Not a polite, professional laugh. A real one. The kind you can't fake. And I thought, this is not just therapy anymore. And if I don't do something about it, this is going to go somewhere neither of us can come back from. The week everything changed. I almost didn't go. I sat in my car outside her building for 10 full minutes. Hands on the wheel. One question running on repeat in my head. Are you coming here to heal? Or are you coming here just to see her? I didn't have a clean answer. but I went in anyway, because staying away felt worse than the risk of going. We talked about progress, about patterns I was changing, about the future I was starting to believe in again. And then without planning it, I said it. I think I need to stop coming here. She didn't react quickly. She stayed still. Too still. Can I ask why? She said carefully. I looked down at my hands, because I think I'm relying on this too much. I paused. On you. The silence after that felt like the whole room shifted, like something invisible had just been named and couldn't be unnamed. She put her pen down, slowly. Then she did something she had never done in 6 months. She stood up, walked around her desk, and sat in the chair right next to mine, not across from me. Next to me, I could hear her breathing. I need to tell you something, she said quietly. And I know I shouldn't say it. My chest tightened. She looked at me not as a therapist, as a person. Completely honest, completely exposed. You're not the only one feeling this, she said. I couldn't move. I tried to ignore it. I told myself it was just part of the process. She shook her head slowly. It's not. Then, I think about you, too. More than I should. She exhaled, like she'd been holding that in for months. If anyone ever found out, she whispered, my career would be over. And she still didn't look away. But what she said next, I was not ready for. She stood up, created distance again, arms at her sides, like she was trying to hold herself together by sheer force. And what came out of her mouth hit harder than anything else in that room. I can't be your therapist anymore, she said. Ethically, this ends today. A long pause. I'm married. The word landed like a wall between us. Not happy, but still married. And you are still my patient. She looked away. I shouldn't have said anything. I'm glad you did, I said. My voice came out rough, like it had been waiting. She looked at me again. And in that one look, I saw everything. Guilt, relief, fear, and something that neither of us had a name for yet. What happens now? I asked. She walked back behind her desk, slowly, deliberately. Now, you leave. And I figure out how to live with what I just told you. I walked to the door. Hand on the handle. Stopped. Turned back. She was already watching me. The same expression I had been carrying for weeks without knowing it. Catherine, I said. Her first name. First time. She closed her eyes. Like hearing it meant something. This isn't over, I said. Not a question, just the truth. She didn't answer, but her hand tightened on the edge of her desk. And very quietly, almost too quiet to catch, I know. I walked out into the rain, heart pounding, hands shaking. Nothing was fixed, nothing was safe, but I felt more awake than I had in years. Some lines, once crossed, change everything. And now, we both have to live with that.